Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The justice revealed.
The justice revealed.
Oh, hey. Kaka say, Kaka say, bola ne
We can sit down and watch our people dying.
I'm Kaka, we are Kaka. We gonna stand and fight for Kaka until justice prevail. Justice prevail. I'm Kaka, we are Kaka. We gonna stand and fight for Kaka until justice prevail. Until justice prevail. I don't know what is going wrong. Someone fighting for our right. He's trying to take up on his life. Ejura youth, let's stand up right now. Today I speak Kaka, tomorrow me. No one knows where it is coming to his toes. When it touch one, it has touched all of us. So it's time for I and I to stand together. Yes, original, Ekabakua. I can't usu. Yes, original. Maybe the power so. Oh, I am. Oh, but anyway, yeah, yeah, they would have got him. Kakana, I've been the Yakamata. Suki Susubata, she. Let's Kakano, be a Kaka. Kay Kakano, Kema Kaka. Because nobody knows tomorrow. Nobody knows tomorrow. Nobody knows tomorrow. I'm Kaka, we are Kaka. We gonna stand and fight for Kaka until justice prevail. Justice prevail. I'm Kaka, we are Kaka. We gonna stand and fight for Kaka until justice prevail. Until justice prevail. I don't know what is going on in this time. The right people turn up been going down. Freedom fighter Kaka never going down. It's time for Anyass to step up right now. I say I'm Kaka, oh, you are Kaka, hey. Everybody stand up, we are Kaka, oh yeah. We can never stand this world. Injustice we never stand away. I'm Kaka, you are Kaka. We gonna stand and fight for Kaka until justice prevail. Until justice prevail. Hey, me a Kaka, we a Kaka. Yes, sorry, they young Kuma Kaka. Until justice prevail. Until justice prevail. Hey, hey, ni Kakanyo, Kema Kakanyo. Kubare muzauna mutashio, mutashi mubaka kaye. Until justice prevail. Hey, it's been a long time, people suffering every time. Hey, until justice prevail. Until justice prevail. Yo, I'm Kaka, we are Kaka. We gonna stand and fight for Kaka until justice prevail. Justice prevail. I'm Kaka, we are Kaka. We gonna stand and fight for Kaka until justice prevail. Until justice prevail. Oh, what is it? Are we living in banana country? No! We stand for Kaka till justice prevail.
Jama'a barkanmu da yau. An fi widiyo mai ciya mu. Ya no deɛ na makɔtam hɔ na adwuma titiri nti a mugyina hɔ ma man no agyina hɔ ma yɛ no monyɛ wɔnim sɛ mu wɔ haw bi si mu ɔno wɔnim nanso so ɛnam sɛ ne nsɛn yɛ taa hwɛ ɔno so so yɛ dɛn ɔno so ɛyɛ a ɔno so hwɛ obi Into one na wo ka wo ha wo kyerɛ na ana say one no bitimi solve problem na mama na so one wante da wo be so wo ama eno na me e wo my dream ana e wo mutri ninti na always ya na ma ba Facebook so ma ka 1 bi na me ko sana ya ni na we ya ene asema titiri ba ma dream ana say me pese me kyerɛ amanfo na ebinum so kyerɛ me say de sitie bia na me minim ho enim dia na woni pakro no so na kyerɛ me saa ne bia se no etie na de wo mu ni say me tinase edwene Ghana ho kakra ena me hu say Ghana no amanfo a wo mu di ehwammo anaase wo ma ye bia ye wo hawo mu a eni kwan say ye wo saa hawo nimu no omo na ye media yo ameka so mu omo ye se brofo ni ntimi hu media no se de me sinka no na se me media kura me kira ne se amanfo e wo se wo mokọ ekohwe ye hawo anaase normal bia ha ye wo ewo yabura bumu ewo Ghana omo na according to Ghana constitution na normal bi no ewo omo nsa a omo so betimi place a rule no omo de ama me ne ni bi obi chi de me pa chira se nanso asam de woni pasa wo kan ne se ne pa num ene etiewu a obia se de osi fa no obia ne nanso se de obia si fa no de wo dwen no eno so obi be fa no saa nyame pa chira ne se BDS no wo mo na wo so wo mo ebe ka chira yeye mamufu ne se adisei awosen campaign fu no nanso enam se yeye no ye wo saa kungia saa kuo no mununti ye ntimi nkasa enti yeye ntimi nkasa no wo mo ntimi nkasa na me pa chira wu no maka ba na ko ma be linki say because omo ayi so ku wa bontia say de ka na different obomu a different nanso wo medias no even though say sa na tie ndem mo da ho ema ye mo beko ama Ghana fo no ma intini ka say fix the country and the country me wo ema wo mu no a gidie Ghana fo so ema wo no na de donko akufo ado e wo ma wo no and the Ghana fo no sin na fix the country ne say yeah kasi na fix the country na monfo bi dwene say ya town nana GTA ne wo mo wan fix Ghana na maya nana wan fix Ghana na maya e be ko han ntina na nyankopon ama me no wo kasa na kasa me kasa sa kire wo no na nyankopon ma aseni zu e ba menim I don't know why na because you need me say wo e no pepo ayi wo no biti me fix Ghana na ma ye wo fix Ghana na ma na ko be chiri ye ya Allah jama'a no Allah ku ya fi min Allah ba san dalili ba na maganan nan na ji kamar wani takeici nake ji na kun zuwa ni farda Allah jama'a Allah ku ya fi min na sayana dan masa abinda da zan faɗi gaba ba ya buye zama masala amma marufa na ne na wanga bagana ne ke yi asma mi ke yi jina su wani sai na fix the country ni cire sai ya wuce diye ma intin ya ka sai fix the country ena country na in yawo na usenu wallahi na in yawo na usenu a che en kanenu na ni yo video no man kiti bi awu pie demonstration usawo mu uswa so force wa sai ebe ma wo sai diwe na adiwe sai abawon sa we ekura wa abawon sai na mfuje ntia menya kukuduro na ene a me no wo kasa ne sai minim se enya wa adwen no wo nwiri sakura nanso ba kuo no na se ye de o Ghana no hwe wonsem no ene ye kire wo se kuo bi ni se ene ye ya no enti wo so wanya ne sa na wo wonto enti eni ntina na wo gina so a wo de ye de wuye nanso wo wa koma empe wo kuma mpanin Nyankopɔn ma yɛ yɛn si ɛbɛtaa wo chi na ade na akɔyɛ sɛ yɛyɛ nti ɛna wo yɛ sei na nso de kuo no yɛ no ka wo no wo fo no wo yɛ adwen na nso nkɔla nketenkete sɛ no isi no de ɔmo yɛ wɔ akyire no nti ntimi nya yɛ saa na waboa yɛ na one fix country na obi oba be fix country na ma yɛ no bɛɛdi deɛ nti ne ɛwɔ gidi wɔ mu nana deɛ nti ne ɛwɔ gidi wɔ mu obi bia no ho na wɔde free education baayɛ wo na wɔde baayɛ since Ghana me si so a me fi amadi ne dia aka no ɛno so me fi amadi ɛne sisi dia aka na me nim sɛ Nyankopɔn me mayɛ so asɛm nya 20 a me nim sɛ aka half 20 me nya 30 a me nim sɛ aka sase abrabo a me nim sɛ me ne mo kɛsɛ me nim no sa gidi no na sɛ na one fix country kakra ama me so ma hu sɛ na me wɔ na na fix na me de kɔ enti me ma o ma free jabe den na me kɔ na me da hɔ a me zuchia me kuruwa na din nipa Ghana ha braba ye wɔ no enye obia na otimi common didi 3 times a day me a me ne mo kasa yi me ta didi 2 times a day eno do so sene 3 no me sa na me pɛ no okɔ abrabom bi okɔ Libya ha se ya unya fa kwan so no ano obi na ma wusika ma wo kɔ ya wa de ba wa du pese no se engineer si mesi obesu okume ti no kasa me fa Libya no Nyankopɔn de yi me ne ma wu sa na pɔ ba bi sa na wo ka na sa wo so du sika so na kɔ ya se de ya wo na wo be ka se na me nim se se na tie Nyankopɔn bo wa wo se ali wo ye wo juma na fidi no yiri fikura se o fa desert no diente o ba Libya no yani ya munya kuti no anyi wona na je sena no na ko pa ko kuti wallahi rasisa no diente na rasisa sai no man kiti bi ampini fu adia entu ba ho fa ho mpu bi so ni Ghana ma ese ho pa ho mpu so di sika ho pa ho mpu so di sika enna na ho ba no ba e bi do si di sika no wa ba ni free education na sa free education ama ye gidie wo mu nana na se nana fix the country ya na even do say NDC fo no ebi no man opportunity e de ye bibia se de be ya wo bokochi na yes wo de we no at the same time no ya magana for no hu say wo nana no wonye wo mo no wo mu dia wo de bae no na so obi asam si ya ye no ma ye go mu ba ko no fa ye ne kasa na fa fix country no ma ye fix country no ma ye ya me no wa to ye odi susu wo Ghana mu odi ebe wo Ghana record mu say we even though say na kura wan nya de ye kan kura na we ya ka so bi o de free education first buy ye na na do dan fa ko fa bi show point sanya ba kan na wo de buy na wo di we ya ba na wo di we so aba na wo di we ya ba no wa fix we ya wan no be ba do be bia wo na wo di fix ya wo fix ya no ba ye de wo di so unti me fix ya ke kan tell say na fix the country your mom was no so be aka fix the country omo ni gidie wo no so be ma fix and then Nyankopɔn ma wo waba and you say fix it yes fix it in because you nim say o pesa o fix so ampa na so amanfo bi wo we chiri bi a o mo pesa o be fix ya e be say o fix ya na so mo ba ya no e be ka nti na wo so wo yesa nti nana sira ni yesiro say fix the country na enya wo history jama'a barkanmu da sallah. Allah maimaita muna, Allah sa kai sabon shekara war haka mun fi haka. Allah iya muna. To jama'a abinda na saba doka shi kuma na zo nan dokin nuna ma jama'a. Wannan toiletin guwan dogon bawa kenan. Kun gan shi toiletin Gondo Gombawa kenan. To jama'a abinda nike yi ne toilet haka nike zuwa ndoki ko wani abin da ake yi aka bari ko abin da ya kamata a yi ba yi ba, shi zan doki nuna ma jama'a, nuna ma duniya ko Allah ya sa mu ga wanda zai zo ya yi muna ya zo ya yi. To jiya an biyo ni an zo an gaya min wawan ga baban da nake dokan nan in ban bari ba an buga ni. Salisu ya turo MC muna gera ya turo jama'a. Asa mika video na ata mai shada ka sai biya sa na kasa mu adiyan sana me jira su ne ko aka saka We gotta get science. Anyway, I feel all the
Okay, thank you very much. So this short video is just was made to put a very um, enviable life of our brother Kaka in context. This is what he was doing, shooting videos and sending them out of dilapidated structures in his community. In essence, he was doing citizen journalism, more like you here who are also journalists doing your work. And we had exchanges that he had with some people who came to accost him to stop him from doing those things. And true to his form as a fighter, he refused to cower to their whims. And you know, eventually led to his demise. Eventually, he pulled back. And the events that followed, soldiers were sent um, to sort of brutalize citizens of Nigeria. And some were shot to death, some got injured. The families of Kaka and those others who were killed during the protest are all here. I'll now hand over the mic to Alhaji Kinusa, who will introduce himself and the family with him. Then we'll take it up from there. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Members of the press, on behalf of the wider campus family and the people of Nigeria, thank you for coming for today's press events. We are grateful that you continue to find it proper to shine your cameras on the plight of an unknown poor family from the middle of nowhere, the family of the street, who have neither gold, fame, nor the political connection that one needs to secure justice in the version of democracy we practice. But for your interest in our case, our continuous cry for justice would have been heard by only the walls that surround our modest family home in Asia. As you are aware, we have invited you here to share with you, formally this time, our thought on the report of the ministerial committee that was set up to look into the Nigeria killings. Let me take this opportunity to introduce the persons who are here with us today. Yeah, on my immediate right, we have the Kakes family. We have Nephew Mohammed, and he is the spokesperson for the Kakes family. Yeah. And then next to him is Sahada Kudu. She's the Kakes wife. And then next to her, we have Menawara Kakes' daughter, Las, and then we have a 3-year-old Kakes' daughter. And then I'm Alhaji Tukaka. I'm also a Kakes family. And my left here is Mr. Abubakar Abdai with us here. And also, next to him is Abdul Salam Yusuf, also a family, a brother of Abdul Yusuf. So these are the family. So before I present of the family, I want to make a couple of preliminary remarks. I must say first of all that we are naturally saddened that over 90 days after freedom of information request from us and the families of the victims of the drug killing to compel the government to release this report into public domain for discussions. And I can remember we had to give government 14 days for report. For us, the delay in releasing the report does not reflect any sense of agency or commitment to bringing justice to the people of Israel. We think that the delay is definitely inconsistent with the demands of our laws and with what our democracy requires. Over the past week, we have taken time as a family to read and discuss the committee report internally. We have sought the counsel of our lawyers, of our religious advisors, friends and well-meaning sympathizers. We have conferred with people of Israel, and we have sat down with the families of the victims of the military brutalities in Israel. We have listened to those who have criticized the report and those who have praised it. We have taken in stride the voices of those who spew hate against our families. And we have even prayed for those whose hate and violent threats against us have now become emboldened by the report. Most importantly, we have kept faith with Allah, in whom we have sought comfort and have trusted His wisdom. Today, we speak out again because we continue to trust Allah's promise that the morals of the universe in this press conference, we will be addressing two issues that have become the focus of the media attention since the report was released. First, we will address the finding of the committee regarding the murder of our son, husband, and father, Kaka. And secondly, we will share with you the set of actions we will be taking going forward after these reports. Matthew, my nephew, will take you through the work and report of the committee, and I will intervene towards the end to provide you short statement on the next course of action of the family. At the end of that, we will take questions from you. We can also direct your questions to the families of the victims of Hijra killings also here today with us. At this stage, I give floor to nephew, the spokesperson for the Kaka family to continue. Thank you. Thank you, Uncle, for this introductory comment. Uncle Alad Bawa said, I will be taking you through our action to the board, the draft committee. In connection with this, as many of you recall, the committee stated in its report, and I quote, that we accordingly find that the death of Kaka was not directly linked to his social media activities. It is more probably a family affair. As you are aware, ever since the release of the report, several prominent and credible people in the society have been baffled as to how the committee could have arrived at this conclusion. We thank the several of them who spoke up and criticized the obvious absurdity and bizarre nature of the findings. We are grateful that they have shown clearly how the committee improvised its own reports and diminished its own credibility by amplifying propaganda and hatred for the discernible religion. We would like to use this opportunity to state in clear and unambiguous terms that the statement by the committee that Kaka was probably killed because of a family feud is obviously false, careless, made, and very clearly disgraceful. Their statement was made without regard for the pain of the family and could only have been made by persons who were so eager to please their appointing authority that they left their humanity and their conscience aside, even though they knew that they had no basis, evidence, or authority for that statement. They made it in a truth and justice for poor family in Israel. When you call to the keeping of those who have promised you and have the power to guarantee your federal political appointment. So yes, we have struggled as to why persons of their caliber will be so willing to forsake their own credibility just to do a hunch job in expectation for political favor. But we leave them to the judgment of their conscience and to the weightier justice of Allah. As a family, we consider it necessary, however, we talk the public through the facts and to demonstrate to you why the whole finding of the committee are untrue, horribly careless, and insensitive. First, I want to address the mandate of the committee. It is important that we remind ourselves that the Hijra Committee, by their own admission, had no mandate to investigate the death of Kaka. They had no mandate to establish who killed him or why Kaka was killed. We as a family understood that and we made our peace with that. We say this not because we do not want the truth of who killed Kaka to be officially established, but secure, but because we want to, because we want the person connected to his death In the letter, we stated that we were concerned about the continuous encroachment of committee into questions which, as we understood, were the object of separate and concurrent criminal investigation. We were doubtful of the prudence in the committee's decision to extend its inquiry into questions which the Ghana Police Service had publicly claimed were part of its investigation into the brutal murder of our son, husband, father, Ibrahim Mohammed. We reiterated our concern that the committee was receiving testimony from persons who could potentially be called to testify in a criminal trial relating to the murder of Kaka, or in a subsequent criminal trial of the individual who are criminally capable of shooting of unarmed civilians and children in Edra. We noted in particular the failure of the committee to advise witnesses of their constitutional rights against self-incrimination, of their right to attend the hearing with the assistance of counsel, and failing to advise them that nothing they say before the committee was privileged and that all could be abused against them in a criminal trial. After the chiefs and elders of Edra summoned the family and rebuked us for our decision not to participate in the hearing, we felt compelled to appear before the committee. We did so largely against our will, but in the hope that those families who had lost their loved ones and seen their injured would feel more confident in appearing before the committee. It was, after all, because of them the committee had been created. Yet, even when we appeared before the committee, Sahada Hudu, Kake's widow, was the only person who took the trouble to ask the committee to clarify its mandate. At no point previously had the committee taken the trouble to clarify its mandate to the witnesses who appeared before it. In response to Sahada, the committee made it clear that they had no business looking into the death of Kaka. They admitted on camera, unequivocally, that because the matter was under investigation by the police, it would be improper for them to intervene on those issues. Despite all this, the committee went ahead and made 40% of its findings about the murder investigation into the death of Kaka. They also made statements that even common sense would have told them was improper. By so doing, they clearly prejudiced the criminal investigation into Kaka's murder. At this stage, let us interrogate their own findings that Kaka's murder has nothing to do with his social media activity into the Kaka's issue. Did just that. One of the things committee was also selective about the kind of evidence it wanted to rely on, what it wanted to believe. All for those justifiable reasons. All for those justifiable reasons. With a single stroke of pen and without any independent investigation of their own to disprove or add weight to any testimony, they decided to choose without testimony that they wanted to believe which ones they wanted to discount. They wanted to believe and which one they wanted to discount. As, for instance, according to the committee, they decided that Sada, hour-long testimony that her husband confided in her on several occasions that the threats against his life in connection with his social media activity was pure speculation. In reaching that conclusion, the committee said that this was because Sahada had not reported those threats to the police and had not told the police about the identity of the individual. What is curious about that conclusion is that during the hearing, at no point did the committee ask Sahara whether she had reported those threats and the identity of the person is concerned to the police. When you watch the recording of the hearing, at the 31st minute of her appearance before the committee, Miss Juliet Adame Amwa, a member of the committee, asked Sahara to confirm that she knows the identity of the individuals who were threatening her husband. After Sahara confirmed that she did, the same member of the committee advised Sahara to go ahead and report the names of the individuals to the police. Miss Amwa, inquiring at any point what Sahara had already made a statement to the police regarding these issues. In fact, at the time of her appearance before the committee, Sahara had already made a statement to the same effect to the police. This the committee could have easily verified this information as they have access to the police docket on Kaka. Further, the committee suggested that videos submitted to them by a certain Abi workers did not contain threats to Kaka's life, and that the video appeared after Kaka's death. They claimed that the videos and considered that this allowed them to state categorically that, accordingly, find that the death of Kaka was not directly linked to his social media activism. This was the only basis for their conclusion. What is curious is that the committee, which was sold to the public as a fact-finding committee, made no attempt to actually find out any facts of its own, even though they received several witness statements that made reference to Kakeshu as a social media activist. They did not even try to take a look at Kakeshu's social media activism. How was it possible for committee to make 40% of its funding about the death of Kaka social media activity? How possible is it possible for a committee to make 40% of this finding about the death of a social media activist and yet not even take the trouble to go the individual or go through the social media feed? Surely, this is not only embarrassing, but it credits the report, whatever it is. Surely, this is not only embarrassing, but discredits the report and whatever conclusion they reach concerning the matter of Kaka. Had the committee been taking the trouble to independently look into Kaka's social media activism, they would have confirmed for themselves several videos that are still on Kaka's Facebook page, where he himself recorded various individuals and mentioned names of persons threatening him. They had done so. Had they done so, they would have confirmed for themselves that all these videos were mostly live streamed, made on Facebook, and not edited video or videos capable of being tampered with. Who investigates the killing of a social media activist without even logging onto social media? Not even once. I want us all to pause and reflect on this issue. Who investigates the killing of a social media activist without even logging on? You see why it is not surprising that so many people have found the finding of the committee to be very porous, even as the committee has sought to coach their weak and baseless evidence in exaggerated language. Many have been through it. Of their short job. The first thing I want to address is the bizarre claim by the committee that Kake's murder was probably because of a family feud. Now, one could expect that because of the gravity of such conclusion, this possible repercussion in terms of the public interest in this matter and its effect on the ongoing criminal inquiry into Kake's death, the committee would have taken time to demonstrate clearly and based sound logic. Yet again, the committee failed at this. Their careless regard for the family of Kaka was evident in that conclusion and has now been confirmed in their subsequent statement in the press. As you are aware, Dr. Vladimir Enchidanso has gone on to say publicly that we, the Kaka family, have no right to question the work of the committee. In his own words, he said, they do not have the right to question us because they did not send us. Obviously, if accepted, it will mean that the committee saw itself as only accountable to the person who set them up and not to be the families of victims, the perceiving Ghanaian public. We think that this is unacceptable. At no way in the entire report of the committee did they demonstrate or was there any evidence to show that the family of Kaka was embroiled in any turmoil or feud. In fact, in reaching their conclusion, they rely wholesale on the testimony of one Mohammed, an individual who they say choose to hear behind closed doors. Even though this individual has previously repeated some of their discredit statements on Facebook prior to the meeting, the committee. Clearly, this was somebody whose testimony was intended as a wow factor, and so was deliberately shelved from broader public scrutiny. Yet, this was the only evidence the committee cited as confirming their conclusion that Kaka was killed because of family feud. In so doing, the committee failed to subject the testimony of this individual, who they describe as friend of Kaka and a resident of Edra, to even the most basic scrutiny. For instance, by the account of the testimony that the committee itself summarized, the individual was not even a resident of Edra, but a person who lived in Burkina Faso. Secondly, the said individual whose version they decided to swallow hook, line, and sinker was not even in Edra when Kaka was killed or at the time of the Edra killing. In addition, this individual had not been in touch with Kaka for at least the past 10 years. Kaka and the said individual had become estranged sometimes after Kaka got married to Sahada. Further, the committee failed to subject the person's testimony to any scrutiny whatsoever. For instance, as proof that there was bad blood between Kaka and Idi, the individual claimed that Kaka has caused the arrest of Idi sometimes in 2020. According to this individual, Idi had been kept in a drug police cell for about 3 days at the instance of Kaka, and that he, Aminu, had advised Kaka to leave Idi in the cell for about a week to teach Idi a lesson. The said Aminu even went on to allege that Kaka's mother had paid a bribe to the drug police to secure the release of Idi after 3 days. Claimed that Idi traveled to Nigeria soon after this release.
Despite this heavy reliance on this individual statement, at no point did the supposed fact-finding committee seek to establish whether there was, in fact, any record of arrests against ED in 2020, or attempt to cross-check with the police of any fanciful stories, narrated to them. They did verify whether indeed he had traveled out of the country in 2020 as alleged by said individual. In addition, the committee decided to overlook the obvious absurdities in this story, including the accusation of bribe, corruption made against the police service. The committee, for discernible reason, chose to blame this individual. No attempts were made to corroborate or independently establish any of the claims made by the said Mohammed. The committee's failure to perform the most basic due diligence on this story is baffling. The result was that the committee became the mouthpiece of fake news and a senseless conspiracy theory. As a fact-finding committee, the Kumsi committee had one job, that was to establish facts. They failed in that task miserably. We are also disappointed that the committee treated the testimony of another individual, Sadia Husseini, who accused Babaidi of having something to do with the attack on his brother as more reasonably probably. Even though the committee, by its own assertion, had been given access to the docket on Kaka, they contradicted statements to the police regarding those she claimed to have seen on that night. They treated as irrelevant the fact that the same individual they treated as irrelevant the fact that the same individual recanted her story several times and had in fact given recorded interviews in which she contradicted herself severally on the same issue. Similarly, they failed to take note of the glaring inconsistencies in the testimony of Munira to Alasan and did give any regard to the fact that her story just repeats almost entirely that of Sadia Hussein, word for word. In addition, when scrutinized, it is hard to not conclude that the entire statement makes further questions. For instance, this individual claimed that she heard the sound of Kake's motorbike. But what magic was this person able to identify the owner of the motorbike from only? This individual also claimed that after the motorbike arrived, she heard unusual sounds and came to her court to see what was happening. Yet she did not, by her own assertion, see anybody attack Kaka. This was strange because even by her narration, she would have been the first witness to the scene because she came out immediately when she claimed to have heard the strange sound. In addition, she claimed that when she was making her way to the scene, she bumped into Abaidi and then shouted that somebody had caused the injury and was running out, so people should come and see him. If by her own assertion that somebody she saw was Babaidi, why did she not say it there? And then that the person she saw was Babaidi. It seemed clearly to us that the committee was only interested in believing any narrative they found was unfavorable whenever they encountered the evidence that they did not conform to their minds, made up minds. They either discounted it or did not even bother to solicit it. Also, whenever they heard any account that conformed to what they wanted to hear, they did not even bother to prove it further. We are disappointed that a committee charged with such an important national law of impartiality said that a committee supposedly chaired by a justice of a court of appeal failed to show the minimum level of legal awareness and a sense of judicial restraint. Instead, the committee completely abandoned due process, showed zero respect for the fair trial rights of persons currently arrested in connection with the police inquiry into the death of Kaka. We take this as sufficient evidence of their lack of integrity and their insensitivity. We are now unfortunately convinced that following the follows were conducted by the committee, the Attorney General would, on the authority of his commission hatchet job, discontinue the prosecution of two members of the NPP who were arrested in connection with Kaka's intention of the person involved in this charge. In fact, it is common knowledge that information circulating in some quarters in the draft community for the past several weeks has been that several supporters of the NPP in the draft have been assured by high-level officials in their party that the Attorney General will seek to release their foot soldiers caught up in the medal inquiry. We do not take it for granted that the committee's report now provides the Attorney General with what he needs to go on and make his party people happy. But even persons in position of trust in this country persist in corrupting our laws and pervading the cause of justice for illegal and dishonest partisan ends. We remain resolute in the belief that the truth will always win. As a result, we would like to remind everyone of the facts in this matter. In fact, the fact is that Kaka, in several of his videos, talked constantly about the fact that his life was in danger due to the threats he was receiving in connection with his activism. Kaka also recorded his interaction with certain individuals affiliated with the MPP in Ibrahim, who threatened him constantly. These individuals told Kaka that they thought he was making their political party look bad and that his activism will affect the electoral fortunes of the party. They claim on the recording that they had been interaction. Kaka recorded a video where he said that because of his online activism, the municipal chief executive sent people to warn him. He said that he had decided to shoot that video so that his audience will see that if he gets beaten or attacked, it is because of it is because of the anxiety of this political element over his social media activity. Two of the individuals who were recorded on video for threatening Kaka's life are the persons who were arrested by the police in connection with Kaka's death. After Kaka was attacked, we found at the crime scene two large sticks which were covered with blood and which were used to beat up Kaka. These were handed over to the police. And the police saying that ED carried two clouds alone and beat up Kaka. We also handed over a mobile phone to the police. We know for that fact that the police handling Kaka's phone have been completing his water and have even exited certain groups of he was on. We consider his conduct to be deliberately interfering with evidence and improper. We have also had cause to complain severally, including to the Inspector General of Police, that certain officials of the Ghana Police Service went to physically assault Baba Idi and force his hand to tamper certain documents. He does not know the content of this document. This complaint and a request to meet the IGP was delivered to his office nearly 2 months ago. We are still waiting for the Inspector General of Police, who want to believe is committed to reforming the police service, to act accordingly and even acknowledge the complaint made to him. We also note our disappointment that after over 90 days of crying for justice, and after they have led the entire public to believe that Baba Idi killed Kaka, it was only after the report was released that the police sent crime scene investigators to the house to investigate the crime scene on the 30th of September. This was just last Thursday, 30th September. In essence, police did not even take the trouble to properly investigate the scene of the crime before leading the onslaught against our family for several months ago. All of these facts were available to the committee, yet they chose to deliberately mislead the public in order to cover up their poor recommendation regarding the Ejura committee. It is for the various reasons that I have just outlined that we, the family of Kaka, reject the report of the Ejura committee. We consider it to be a hatchet job, incompetent, structurally unsound, and a stain on the integrity of persons who set it up, as well as those who serve on it. Thank you very much. So we are going to look at the conclusion part of it. We are not yet done.
That one, be patient with us. It's just a few minutes. Yeah, so please.
The justice revealed. The justice revealed. Kaka say, Kaka say, bola ne
We can't sit down and watch our people dying.
Thank you for your patience. I think this portion is very, very important not to look as a first family, but be patient with us. Yeah, thank you. Very much the spokesperson of Kaka's family, my nephew, Mohammed. At this stage, we would like to inform the press of some of steps the family will be taking. Earlier on, I think that this press conference is an important part of the gesture. So, after due deliberation, the family decided to make a police complaint against the said Aminu Mohammed regarding the allegations of bribery, corruption he made against the mother of Kaka and the Ijura police. We think that this accusation should not be taken Ijura police in a considerable manner. We believe that it is in the interest of the Ijura police to get to the bottom of this allegation of corruption.
I don't know what is going wrong. Someone fighting for our right. He's trying to take up on his life.
Yusu asem kakra no bebree. Edu kurana, woni mi se wo bi no metumi ate wasem a wo kan bi 1 2 bi na mo de akọ, na mo de ato akọ. Na so edwura titiri edwurafo. Wo a wo hwɛ me. Na wo hwɛ me a me kasa na wasan de wadwene e de ato party bi so ama me no nti. Emi nti de me ka bia no, wo ye no kwa. Yes, I net. The old Binibiano, my cosati, Bianim. What part of the Pessoa party near how well you would a woman about every day. So, Obo party nature and moons at the Obo party and the Chidi and Coradia. The Magia too. Let me do 2 names and Miss May come maybe and the walls, be a no crow or no one who will tomorrow is a whole party near say to be a baby or gentle must out. As I bet TV and I mean, what you can do so when you're Corana.
Yeah. The justice revealed. Oh, hey. Kaka say, Kaka say, bola ne
We can't sit down and watch our people dying.
I'm Kaka, we are Kaka. We gonna stand and fight for Kaka until justice prevail. Justice prevail. I'm Kaka, we are Kaka. We gonna stand and fight for Kaka until justice prevail. Until justice prevail. I don't know what is going wrong. Someone fighting for our right is trying to take up on his life. Ejura youth, let's stand up right now. Today I speak Kaka, tomorrow BMBO. No one knows where it is coming to his toes. When it touch one, it has touched all of us. So it's time for I and I to stand together. Yes, original, Ekabakua. I can't usuo, my bayetina. And yes, original. Ebi beba usuo. Oh, I am. Oh, my name, yeah, yeah, name, the canimo. Kakana, I've been the Yakamata. Suki Subata, she. Let's Kakano, be a Kaka. Hey, Kakano, came a Kaka. Because nobody knows tomorrow. Nobody knows tomorrow. Nobody knows tomorrow. I'm Kaka. We are Kaka. We gonna stand and fight for Kaka until justice prevail. Justice prevail. I'm Kaka. We are Kaka. We gonna stand and fight for Kaka until justice prevail. Until justice prevail. I don't know what is going on in this time. The right people tell I've been going down. Freedom fighter Kaka never going down. It's time for Anyass to stop up right now. I say I'm Kaka, oh, you are Kaka, hey. Everybody stand up, we are Kaka, oh yeah. We can never stand this world. Injustice we never stand away. I'm Kaka, you are Kaka. We gonna stand and fight for Kaka until justice prevail. Until justice reveal. Hey, me a Kaka, we a Kaka. Yes, sorry, the young Kuma Kaka. Until justice reveal. Until justice reveal. Hey, ni Kakanyo, Kema Kakanyo. Kubare Muzauna Mutashio. Muitashi Mubaka. Until justice reveal. Hey, it's been a long time, people suffering every time. Hey, until justice prevail. Until justice prevail. Yo, I'm Kaka, we are Kaka. We gonna stand and fight for Kaka until justice prevail.
Equal in the face of the law of this country. Nobody is supposed to be above the law of this country. Since this report has been published, up to now, we as a family of the late Abdel-Nasser Yusuf have not seen any government official coming to discuss with us how the report has been out. What is your feelings? What are your demands? What do we expect from the government? Nothing like that. And we feel that we cannot talk about the death of the late Abdel-Nasser Yusuf without mentioning the late Kaka. It was the death of the late Kaka that generated the killing of these two young guys and the wounded person. All what we are saying is that we are here to call upon the government through the media houses that these witnesses called Sadia and the other witnesses has to break to book because they gave false witnesses. When that thing happened, had it been that same day that the thing happened, they came out and denounced the person who did that, wouldn't have come to the killing of our brothers. They hided the person who did that. They came out with first report saying that the first statement was She was in the house, in her room, when she heard certain noise in the house. Sometimes when the late Kaka comes into the house, he used to drive away goat, or I can say animal, from the house, then you lock the main door. So she thought maybe Kaka was driving away these animals. But when she opened the door, with those people hearing the sound of opening the door, they started running away. They were with their hands, 2 sticks. They threw the sticks away and they ran away. She could not identify them. That was the first statement she gave. Until my brother, who is the engine of our family, lost his life because they were manifesting, protesting, demonstrating for the right of that late Kaka who was sleeping. Died. Yet after they arrested 2 people who is related with those women, they came out now to say what we said at the beginning wasn't the truth, because we did not want to bring family conflict between the family of Kaka. But it was rather the senior brother of Kaka who killed him after we have lost our brothers. So we are saying that if they want justice to be done, these 2 women has to be arrested. Then they will come and then explain very well to our judiciary. The judges has to interrogate these women so that the real truth will come out, so that next time such a thing will not happen again. So we are here as a family of Abdul Nasir Yusuf to support this press conference. Secondly, we have a proverb in our language that says, if you see a beer of somebody catch fire, draw water beside yours. You are the media. You are the voice of the voiceless. It's because of you that we have so many evidence about these shootings. It was Joy News who applied all energy, risked their life to capture all these incidents. So we cannot go without you. All what we are calling, we want justice. The report that came out, they said they will compensate the family of the deceased. That is we, the family of Abdul Nasir, Yusuf, and Muntaka Mohammed. We are not after any compensation without justice. We don't want this thing to appear again in this nation. Know why this thing is continually killing, because we are in the system of it. This thing happened in Anyass West Committee. Even up to now, the compensation that we're supposed to be given to the family of the victim, nobody is in position of 1 person. 2 years now. No judgment, nothing. The same thing happened during the election at Tejimai. No justice, nothing. So they feel you can come out, as they are saying, as a Ghana Armed Forces military, what we call armed person, you go out and kill poor citizens without any reason, and you just go free. Those who kill our Zongo 7, they compensated them with money. That money doesn't exist now with the family. It has already finished. But they are in the grave. Those perpetrators are on the street walking around. That is what we are fighting for. So we thank you much for helping us, we the voiceless, to make our voice out. It is through you that the whole world, Ghanaians, will know that we are in severe pain. So we thank you very much for coming.
All right, thank you very much for coming. As you may have noticed, the Economic Fighters League issued a joint release with Fix the Country. And we have already said that this report that has been released is a bogus report. It's bogus and fraudulent. And Matthew has done justice to why it is bogus and fraudulent. A lot of the findings are completely out of line, and clearly, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Soldiers have gone on the ground, and you yourself have stated that immediately they got down from their vehicle, they started shooting at unarmed, harmless civilians, leading to the death of young people and the permanent maiming of others. And what you can recommend is that the military should do internal investigation. What is the meaning of that? We all know that none of these investigations ever brings any sort of justice. So this report must be thrown into the dustbin. And I think that the work that these people have done, they must sit down and do introspection and ask themselves if they were in the position of the families that have been affected, would they have been happy with this report? Now, I will not go into some of the specifics in the report, but clearly, the report, I mean, go back and listen to the hearings. Madam Sada here, she would have spoken today, but she said she's not feeling very well. So she has chosen not to speak. But when she appeared before the committee, she asked them point blank, are you here to investigate the murder of my husband? And they said no. So in what capacity, by what mandate, by what stretch of the imagination were they able to come out with the finding by reason of his activism without even verifying any of the videos that Kaka himself made about threats on his life, on his Facebook, without even getting any sort of evidence, hard evidence, including the murder weapons that were at the scene of the murder. I also like to use this opportunity to also thank the media and provide some context of what some of the things that we've been doing since the Abbas attack. And when it happened and we got rid of it, we immediately dispatched some of the other victims. Unfortunately, he lost his life, and we were able to raise some funding based on the prevalence of the public, up to around 11,000 that we made available to the Kaka family and the other families. But that cannot be against Kaka's while he's here. He had 5 children. The other families are there. So the appeal that has been made, I just want to reiterate that let us think deeply about the work that Kaka was doing. Kaka was doing for God and country, and in order to make sure that we give evidence of our regard for citizen journalism and active citizenship, being citizens and not spectators, then we must be ready to support in every way possible. The Economic Fighters League will continue to be in support, and will continue to do everything that is necessary to make sure that justice is brought not only to the family of Kaka, but to the families of the others who were murdered by the soldiers, and all the integrity that was fraudulent report that has been released. Okay, so Sada, Kaka's will say a few words. Good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The justice revealed. The justice revealed. Oh, hey. Kaka say, Kaka say, bola ne
We can't sit down and watch our people dying.
I'm Kaka, we are Kaka. We gonna stand and fight for Kaka until justice prevail. Justice prevail. I'm
asogyafoɔ a wɔn ehwɛ nso si me kunu panyin ɛna ɛkɔm ne nso mi deɛ bingye ndi saa ayi no ɛyɛ fake bingye ndi koraa bingye ndi wɔtan.
Okay, thank you very much. So, I think if the media has any questions to pose, you pose them now.
My name is Mohammed. You said the hearing was done in Kama. That's all Apostolic, whose testimony was based on to see if you were the accounts as a result of family. Were you present at that instance where the hearing? Yes, when he was being heard, because we were not, it was in Kama. So the public were. Thank you. Now, the question is in respect to Mohammed, who claimed he was a Akka. Now, when he appeared before the committee, he was in camera. The question is, actually, as a family, we were not there. But based on the reports, it was so that it was in camera. So, we were not allowed in. We as a family were not there, so it was all in camera.
So how did you manage to arrive at the evening that you said all the things that you said?
All what we are saying is from the report, the summary of witness statement he has given, the report. So we are only trying to juxtapose what he has said in the report with the clear evidence we have before us. So this is what I can say.
The second question, you visited the chief imam a couple of months ago. How has things been so far? Has the chief imam been any input?
Thank you. We visited National Chief Imam a couple of weeks ago. He demanded that we should bring a petition, and we did that. We submitted the petition, I think 3 weeks ago, received by Chief Imam's lawyer and the protocol officer and others. And to be frank with you, they said they were going to treat it in a sense of agency. But something happened. For our chief imam, he is somebody, even though he has done something, he was part of all this thing. We were aware that he has spoken to the vice president. But later there was some kind of mischief around by some officers that we can't disclose it here. So we have So, and to add to what Anyass said, the first question that you asked, and I'm sure you are aware that the committee said they had some people that testify in camera. I think including either military or some police officer. So for we ourselves, we didn't know who they were until the report came out. And even ourselves, we were supposed to testify in camera when we first decided not to appear because it wasn't their mandate. We were not part of their mandate. But later, for the deliberation with our council, we decided to appear. So all these things that we are talking about was from the report. Thank you.
Okay.
Just a quick one. So you attributed.
What's your name?
My name is Noble, You sort of attributed the release of the report to an RTI request made to the presidency. How about it was just a coincidence that 2 days later the report will be out anyway?
Please, can you?
What I'm asking is, you attributed the release of the report to an RTI request to the presidency about 2 days before the release of the report. So couldn't it be by just mere coincidence that it happened 2 days after your RTI request?
Yeah, thank you for your question. I think it couldn't have been coincidence at all. Because you were all aware, as what my nephew said, we had an information of, I think then it was just about 4 days or so for them to appear in court again. My nephew Edie and then the 2 suspects. So we've had
Yeah. The justice revealed. Oh, hey. Kaka say, Kaka say, bola ne
We can't sit down and watch our people dying.
I'm Kaka, we are Kaka. We gonna stand and fight for Kaka until justice prevail. Justice prevail. I'm Kaka, we are Kaka. We gonna stand and fight for Kaka until justice prevail. Until justice prevail. I don't know what is going wrong. Someone fighting for our right. He's trying to take up on his life. Ejura youth, let's stand up right now. Today I speak Kaka, tomorrow Ebeyemio. No one knows where it is coming to his toes. When it touch one, it has touched all of us. So it's time for I and I to stand together. Yes, original, Ekabakua. I can't usuo, my bayetina. And yes, original. Ebi be ba usuo. kamata suke so subata shi Recheni kakanyo be a kaka Kai kakano kai makaka Because nobody knows tomorrow Nobody knows tomorrow Nobody knows tomorrow
We are all living together. There's only one house between my house and their house. And there's only one house between my neighbor, and then the house of one of the suspects who is Hussein Alasan. Yeah, so within ourselves, we know each other.
So is there any family relation?
There's
The
family.
suspect and the witness.
Yeah, there's a family relation.
And can you explain to us what that relationship is?
The wife of that woman who came and then gave testimony at the commission, Sadia Hussein, is related to that Alasan Hussein.
In what are these siblings, uncle?
That's one I don't know. I know only what I know is they are related.
Probably we can't take it on like that. We can't tell us there is a relation. Right? Okay. So
They are related, as he said. They are related.
in what way? That's all.
He just mentioned it to you. They are related. So you can also investigate.
Do your investigation.
Okay, a quick information. My colleague Crosby asked about how you got the report into the public space. And he said that based on the RTR. But the act says that before you get it, you write to the commission. Did you write the commission or you wrote to the presidency and Minister of Education?
Yeah, thank you. I think the report has been, it's now not with the committee again. It has been submitted to the president. The report has been given to the president.
No, I'm asking of how you got the report. You said that you used the RTI Act.
Yes.
Before the report was released.
Yes.
So he was asking whether it was coincidence. And I'm asking that, did you ask for the report through the commission, the RTI commission, or you wrote to the presidency and the Minister of Interior?
No, we wrote, I think he has just mentioned, he's a citizen, you understand? He has just mentioned the laws that I don't know if we wrote to the president. We wrote to the presidency and then to the Minister of Interior.
And not the RTI commission.
Not to the ITR commission. We gave the letter. How do we request from the ITR? No. The report from the public here, where the
I wanted information.
okay, all right.
Okay, if there are no other questions, I would like to thank everybody who was here. My brother scripted was going to say something, but he's been running around. So, Economic Finance League is grateful. It's the country is grateful. The Kaka family, the Martin Yusuf family, to all those who have supported in various ways, including the legal council, and those who financial contributions to the family. If anybody knows the video that was played earlier,